All right, today we're going to talk about why your self-esteem is so low and how you can start gaining true confidence within yourself that'll absolutely transform your life. This will help you not only have a much better mental space and how you think about yourself, but it'll also carry over into your physical and spiritual life as well. This is something that's absolutely plaguing our society right now. Every time I do an Instagram Q&A, I get several questions on, how to increase the low self-esteem, how to increase confidence. I do, many coaching calls and consultation calls with clients, and a lot of times those come back to someone having low self-esteem, and it's carrying over into every area of their life. And this is something that I experienced quite a lot over the years as well. I went through periods of time where I had really, really low self-esteem, and it carried over into every area of my life. And so I'm going to tell you today, one, how that affected me, two, how I gained confidence and came out of that. And then obviously, it led to much greater life success in every area. So, right now, in the 21st century, a reality we have is we have social media. We can talk in another video about, whether that's been a net positive or net negative society, but it is a reality of society now. We have social media. With social media, everything's being forced down our throats from, hustle culture with entrepreneurship, having the perfect physique, having a muscular, lean physique. You need to do these certain things to quote unquote have made it in life. And so what it's doing is it's training everybody that they need to, have a certain amount of social media followers or have a certain amount of income, have the perfect body, or else, who are they as a person? How do they have any worth as a person? So what this is doing is it's forcing everybody to essentially deem their self-worth off of external validation. So the validation they get from likes or followers online, the validation from how much money they make online, the physique they gain. And so, take me for example. So way back in the day, when I was getting into, the whole fitness world and, I was really, really driving hard with ultra running. I was doing this for myself. This was, I would trickle out some content on Instagram, just people kind of following my long runs and stuff like that. But ultra running truly for me, was just for me. It was something that I was experiencing incredible mental, physical, and spiritual growth with. And it was something that, I didn't have a coaching business tied to it yet. I didn't have, followers really following me yet. It was something that was purely for me and brought me happiness and fulfillment within myself. Then take on the flip side, when I went all in with bodybuilding and then made it the goal of becoming a pro bodybuilder, over this time, I had a coaching business really, really start growing. I had a following start growing. And over time, what that did is I started tying my actions and my self-worth to the external validation. And then it became, if I just get that pro card, I will have made it. If I just achieve this perfect body, I will have made it. And this brought me to a relatively low point internally. So, while I did the actions to meet those goals, it left me feeling extremely, extremely empty inside. And with that emptiness came a relatively low self-esteem. I had a lower self-esteem at, 225 pounds ripped than when I was 157 pounds ultra running. And I'm going to get to why that is in just a second. And so, with it, what people don't realize is if you have low self-esteem and then you put your self-worth on some external validation, some external goal that you need to hit of, I just need to hit this goal, or I just need to get these many followers, I just need to make this amount of money. What ends up happening is, one, you'll either get that goal and you'll realize that, this didn't bring me that kind of self-worth that I thought it was going to be, and it's going to cause even a lower self-esteem. Two, you're going to hit that goal, and the other side of the coin to low self-esteem is inflated ego. So then, an inflated ego is really just a protection, an egoic protection of a low self-esteem. So then you're on the flip side now, and you have, way too much confidence. That's the other side of the same coin. Or C, you don't even hit your goal, and now you have lower self-esteem. Whenever you put your self-worth and self-esteem on meeting some external goal, you're just setting yourself up for failure. And that's what happened with me. I got my pro card. I made a certain amount of money that, I thought was going to bring me kind of this internal self-worth. I had, a lot of followers in traction on, say Instagram. And this just, frankly, just caused the low self-esteem to be even worse. And you put that on the flip side to when I was just ultra running for myself. I had such a level of happiness and peace when I was doing that. And the whole thing, guys, is it's not, an ultra running versus bodybuilding. It could be the same thing with either one. The point is I was doing something purely for me that you take everybody out of the world and I would have done that, versus when I was in bodybuilding, and bodybuilding is not the issue here, but when I was in bodybuilding, I wasn't doing it just for me. I was doing it for some external validation. And with that came a lot lower level of happiness. And guys, you see this across the board that, the like I said, that the flip side to low self-esteem is inflated ego. I saw one of Greg Doucette's videos the other day. He put out a video on basically the amount of negative effects this one guy's had from the use of anabolic steroids. Literally, it's wrecked his body. It's made him age, at an incredible rate. He looks much, much older than what he is. It's brought a lot of negative effects. And on that guy's Instagram that day, he was on his Instagram basically like all super happy that Greg Doucette posted him. And it was very clearly a protection to, the low self-esteem. You can see this, it's easy to recognize when you see this in people. And it's something that it's very, very sad to see, because so many people are dealing with this. And this can come from deep-rooted things, from shame, and how people have dealt with shame in their past. It can deal with your childhood, not feeling enough. Either way, what it all comes down to is no matter where the root cause of it is, you've got to, one, most likely search that out and seek that out. What's causing this low self-worth, self-esteem issue? And two, you need to stop tying it to external validation. This is, I could talk on this for probably hours on different actions to take that'll build confidence. And I can definitely do that in future videos if you guys want me to kind of give you really, really tangible action steps to take to start building confidence. But, if you get to the root cause of it, people are doing things for other people. They're doing things for some external validation that they think they're going to get, from something external rather than internal. So what my advice to you to kind of start on this process of building confidence is, if nobody else was on earth, or if it was just you and your family, your family and close friends, what would it be? And I'm not just talking about profession here, your day-to-day actions. What would you do if it was only you here on earth? And then you have to kind of find that kind of inner child of yourself, not the person that you've now created with this egoic shell, your ego protecting that inner child. What would you do? What would bring you true inner happiness if nobody was here on earth? You didn't have to worry about the amount of money you made, all of that. And like I said, guys, I'm not talking about just profession here, because you have to be able to pay the bills. One, that's a good place to start. Two, one thing that's really, really, really helped me, and I've seen this work for so many people across the board, is the more of a mindset you can get into service over self. Meaning, how can I serve other people? This doesn't mean, putting yourself down and letting people walk over you. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about what can you do in your life, whether as a profession, whether as a hobby, whether it's just something you do, not that often, but often enough that you go out of your way to truly put other people before yourself, and you give of yourself to other people. How can you serve other people? For me, that's also, how can I serve God? But, there's very tangible actions that I take throughout my weeks to have service over self. One, it's one thing I do within my business and my profession, my coaching. I give a lot more time to my coaching clients than most coaches give. I get on calls frequently with my clients. I truly want the best for my clients, but outside of that as well, I do different service related actions that put others before myself. And with this, what comes out of it is kind of counterintuitive, but you start gaining more of a self-esteem and self-worth. So the biggest part that I'm talking about here with this video is you've got to step away from having your self-worth, self-esteem tied to external validation, whether that's the amount of followers online, whether that's the amount of money you make, whether that's the body you have. You've got to get away from that. Now, if you have certain goals related to that, that's completely fine. Just don't put any of your self-worth. You have to know you are already worthy and value as a person without any of those things in place. And then what will happen is then when you reach those goals, if you already have, the self-esteem of it, take for example, back when I was ultra running and I had that overwhelming level of peace and good, healthy self-esteem, when I would hit the goal of, say, running a 50-mile ultra marathon, and nobody else really knew about it. It was really just for me. It brought an even greater level of joy, I guess. And so point here is start doing things for you, not for social media, not for some level of money or fame or whatever it is that you think is going to bring you happiness and joy, because what you'll get to the end and your self-esteem will be even lower, or you'll have an inflated ego, and it's not gonna be good in the end once you hit that goal. And I've seen this happen so many times. Just take bodybuilding for example. I've met so many people that will chase getting a pro card, and whether they get it or not, they'll get kind of to that end stage of it and realize this didn't bring me anything I thought it was going to bring me. And that's coming from a deep-rooted self-esteem issue. So in another video, I can talk, if you guys want me to, on actionable steps to take on, how to start building discipline in life, how to start chasing the right things that will lead to building confidence in a pretty rapid way, but in a healthy way too, that you're not covering up a deep-rooted self-esteem issue. You're rooting that out, and then you're building healthy confidence from there. That will lead to success in every area, from your income level, if that's something you're aiming for your physique, and overall help you with your mental space, your physical space, and spiritual space. So the biggest point here with this video is stop tying your self-worth, self-esteem to external. Social media, guys, is ruining so many people's mental health, and it is causing such a low level of self-esteem in people. And it's not, while people have dealt with low self-esteem throughout all of history, we are at a point right now where it's incredibly, incredibly sad at how many people are dealing with such low self-esteems, and it's because they see a picture online of what the picture of success looks like, and that just does not apply to the vast majority of people. So many people would be happy doing certain activities or jobs, if really it was just an internal validation that they were going for, and not they were doing it for themselves and they weren't doing it for any external validation. So I hope this helps some of you guys. Hopefully this helps you kind of start looking within yourself and start kind of seeing where, like I said, guys, just if you were to be the only person on earth, or it's just you and your family, your whole goal is to kind of be who you authentically are and serve God, serve your family, serve others, do what you want to do just for you, because it brings you true joy no matter what anybody else thinks about it. This is how you'll start building that self-esteem and that self-worth. And then, guys, I'm telling you, confidence really will come from it. So I'll talk in other videos about how to start taking actionable steps, building discipline in every area of your life that'll feed over into this. So let me know if you guys have any comments, questions down below. I'm going to start taking, more of these kind of questions that I'm getting quite often, and start kind of building on them from here. So if you guys have any comments or questions like this, definitely drop it down in the comments below, or send me an email. I've got my email tagged on YouTube here. So if you could, please go ahead and smash the like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already. All glory to God. God bless y'all, and have a great rest of your day.